What happens when you stop sleeping entirely? Have you ever stayed awake all night? Maybe it was because of exams. Maybe Netflix whispered, just one more episode. Maybe your brain decided that 3 a.m. was the perfect time to remember something embarrassing you did in 2017. Either way, you've probably experienced what sleep deprivation feels like. The heavy eyes, the slow thinking, the feeling that your brain has been replaced by a potato. But here's the question. What if you didn't sleep for one night? Or 2 nights? Or 5? What if you simply ignored sleep completely? How long could you stay awake before your body finally gives up? Because unlike food, unlike water, unlike almost anything else, sleep isn't optional. Your brain wants it, needs it, demands it. And if you keep refusing, it starts doing something that sounds like it belongs in a horror movie. Something so bizarre that scientists genuinely discovered your brain can begin destroying parts of itself. Literally, the cleaning crew becomes a demolition crew. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why one rare disease proves that a human being can actually die from a lack of sleep. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's find out what happens when you stop sleeping entirely. Let's begin with day 1. You've been awake for 24 hours, and at first it doesn't seem too terrible. You feel tired, a little grumpy. Maybe your reaction speed slows down. But inside your skull, something important has already stopped working. Every night when you sleep, your brain activates a cleanup system called the glymphatic system. Think of it as a giant garbage truck that drives through your brain collecting waste. All day long, your brain produces tiny toxic byproducts. Normally, sleep washes them away. No sleep, no cleanup. Imagine living in a house where nobody takes out the trash. For one day, fine. For several days, congratulations. You now live in a biological dumpster. By day 2, things become noticeably worse. Concentration drops, memory becomes unreliable. You read the same sentence 5 times and still have no idea what it says. You walk into a room and immediately forget why you're there. You unlock your phone and then stare at it like a confused caveman discovering technology. But day 3 is where things get weird. Because your brain starts cheating. You see, the body doesn't care about your plans. The body wants sleep. And if you refuse to sleep voluntarily, your brain may force tiny bursts of sleep anyway. These are called microsleeps. And they're terrifying. For a few seconds, parts of your brain shut down. Your eyes can remain open. You can appear awake. But your brain temporarily disconnects. Imagine driving a car. Everything is normal. Then suddenly your brain says, okay, nap time, and turns itself off for 3 seconds at highway speed. Not ideal. Meanwhile, emotions become unstable. Tiny inconveniences feel catastrophic. You might become angry, paranoid, anxious, or burst out laughing for absolutely no reason. Your brain is running low on maintenance, and the warning lights are starting to flash. But the real nightmare hasn't even started yet. Welcome to day 4. Reality is now becoming optional. At this point, many people begin experiencing hallucinations. You see shadows moving, objects appear distorted. Your peripheral vision starts inventing things. Maybe there's a person standing over there. Maybe there's a giant spider on the wall. Maybe there's a dancing refrigerator wearing sunglasses. Who knows? Your brain certainly doesn't. Because the electrical activity inside your nervous system is becoming increasingly chaotic. Normally, billions of neurons communicate with remarkable precision. Now imagine an orchestra where every musician is playing a different song, at maximum volume, while blindfolded. That's roughly what's happening inside your skull. Balance becomes difficult. Speech becomes slower. Thoughts become fragmented. And the line between imagination and reality starts dissolving. The scariest part? You might not even realize it's happening. Because the very thing responsible for judging reality is the thing malfunctioning. By day 5, conversations become difficult. Simple decisions feel impossible, and many people become convinced that things are happening that simply aren't real. The brain is exhausted, but it still refuses to stop. Like a laptop running on 1% battery while 400 tabs are open. Smoke is practically coming out of the keyboard. And now we arrive at the most viral fact in sleep science. The moment when your brain's cleaning crew completely loses its mind. Okay, let's talk about the sentence that probably made you click on this video. The brain eats itself. Technically, that's an oversimplification, but not by much. Inside your brain are support cells called glial cells. Think of them as maintenance workers. Their job is to clean up damaged cells, remove waste, and keep everything functioning properly. Normally, this is a good thing. Very good thing. You want cleaners. You need cleaners. But researchers discovered something disturbing. When sleep deprivation becomes extreme, certain glial cells become unusually active. One process involved is called astrocytic phagocytosis, which sounds like a spell a wizard would use to destroy your GPA. Essentially, these cells begin aggressively consuming pieces of synapses. Synapses are the connections that allow brain cells to communicate. Normally, the cleanup crew removes old junk. But under severe sleep deprivation, the cleanup crew starts getting enthusiastic. Imagine hiring a cleaning service to remove a spider from your living room, and they respond by burning down your entire house. Spider gone. House also gone. Mission technically accomplished. That's the problem. The brain's maintenance system starts targeting structures that may not actually need removal. Scientists believe this excessive activity could contribute to long-term neurological problems. Your brain becomes so desperate to cope with the damage caused by sleep loss that it begins making increasingly destructive decisions, which is honestly the most human thing your brain has ever done. So how far can a human actually go? The most famous example happened in 1964. A teenager named Randy Gardner stayed awake for approximately 11 days. That's 264 hours. No sleep at all. As the experiment continued, symptoms became severe. Memory problems, mood disturbances, difficulty concentrating, hallucinations, confusion. Yet surprisingly, after finally sleeping, he recovered without obvious long-term physical damage. Which sounds encouraging, until you learn about something much worse. A condition called Fatal Familial Insomnia. Fatal Familial Insomnia. This rare genetic disease damages a region of the brain responsible for regulating sleep. Victims gradually lose the ability to sleep. At first, they struggle with insomnia. Then sleep becomes nearly impossible. Weeks pass, months pass. The brain continues deteriorating. Hallucinations increase. Cognitive abilities collapse. The nervous system begins failing. And eventually, the body can no longer sustain itself. There is currently no cure, no way to permanently stop the progression. It is one of the clearest demonstrations that sleep isn't merely something humans enjoy. It's something humans require. As fundamentally as food. As fundamentally as water. Maybe even more. Because you can survive weeks without eating, but your brain was never designed to function indefinitely without sleep. Sleep isn't laziness. It's maintenance, it's repair, it's survival. Every night, your brain performs countless tasks that keep you alive, sane, and functional. And when that process stops, everything else eventually starts breaking too. So the next time you're tempted to stay awake until 4 a.m. watching videos about why pigeons are secretly plotting world domination, remember, your brain has a cleanup crew. And you'd probably prefer that cleanup crew doesn't decide to renovate your neurons with a flamethrower. If you enjoyed this brief existential crisis, hit subscribe. Tap the bell if you want to be reminded of how fragile your existence is every single week. Thanks for watching. Please go get some sleep tonight. Stay curious.